to a show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. And it's 200. It's crazy that it's 200 because I didn't think I was going to make it to 4 because my guests for episode 2 and 3 kept canceling on me. And I had to find extra people. And I kept thinking, dude, I'm never going to be able to do a podcast because people keep canceling. But here we are at 200. So at least 170 of y'all liked being on here enough to keep coming back and saying yeah. So thank you to everybody for that, and thank you to my guests that are going to be on here. Everyone that's going to be on this episode is actually a previous guest, whether it be 1 or 4 or 5, because we just realized that before we started recording everybody's numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and go around. I guess it would have been easier for y'all all at a table together.
Yeah, that would have been easier, wouldn't it? What an ass.
I'm gonna have.
I told you this episode's gonna be so ratchet.
Look, man. Look, man. I didn't start that. I was just pointing out.
It's me.
My accident, as I was about to say. Let's go to my left, but I'll go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves and how long you've been doing martial arts. And then, yeah, we're just going to go from there. So, Danny, can you go ahead and start for me?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been doing martial arts since I was 5. I always say since I was 7. But my dad the other day said no, because I remember lying on the form to get you into the karate class. So I've been doing martial arts since I was a little kid. Black belt in Tang Sudo, and I wrestled in high school. So then it was like a natural transition into like jiu-jitsu, because I had the wrestling background, traditional martial arts background, and then jiu-jitsu and MMA. And now I just have fought on CFFC in June, and now I'm trying to get back to competing in jiu-jitsu. So that's where I'm at. Been competing in martial arts my whole life, and not going to stop just because I'm a daddy now.
You think it slows you down, but it shouldn't. It doesn't. But some of us will say, I can't do it because I got a baby, because I did that.
Yeah.
And I just started. Mark.
I've been doing martial arts for about a little over 12, 15 years now. I started Muay Thai about 10 years ago. I've been going on for jiu-jitsu, straight, pure jiu-jitsu for like 4 years now. So just been doing that, competing nonstop.
All right. And Joe.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm Joe Huggins. I've been doing martial arts for about 12 years now. Started boxing at the Naval Academy, and then started training jiu-jitsu in about 2015, I think. And then, blue belt in jiu-jitsu and a blue shirt in the 88, like kickboxing kind of Muay Thai system.
Okay. All right. Cool. So,
Dang, over a decade for everyone.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Hey, Dante didn't do his.
So I'm under a decade. So, but cool. And a big part of why I wanted to have you three on specifically is because in my training, I feel like each of you have been extremely instrumental along my journey. Like everyone at the gym has helped in some way, but it's like there are people that, you know, I've leaned on at different chapters of my training. Early on with Huggy, just, you know, because like coming in, it's like, okay, well, I you know, I'm kind of a knucklehead and scrappy, and every time I roll with him, that's exactly, it just turned into a scramble. It was just us, like looking like Heathcliff, you know, like the two cats fighting and just the dust ball going around. It's like, all right, there they go. But that was very, very important for me early on too, because it, you know, it made me understand, like, you know, there is a dance to this. Even though it's a scramble, there is, you know, something to that. You know, it's not just like, here, I'm just going to keep like throwing things at you and hope and pray. Like, you know, I do something, he ended up catching me in a Kimura, and I'm like, well, guess I got to learn from that now. So, and then, you know, even like moving on from there, once Mark started training jiu-jitsu primarily, like I worked with him a lot and just kind of learning from him, even though he was learning himself more so. But I would do something and he would kind of add in stuff from Muay Thai, just kind of like philosophical things, I guess you could say, or like little points that I carried over, and I still kind of use some of it to this day. And then Danny, another one from like early on is like I would just watch you and like listen to like the little things you would say. Like one thing that still sticks with me is like think of like grappling like rock climbing. Like your feet and your hands, they have to be attached to something. So anytime I'm doing something now and I got a free hand, I freak out. I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm about to fall. So
falling off the cliff.
Everything's got to be active.
Yep. So I was like, well, I want to have, these three guys on because I feel like everyone was extremely instrumental in my grappling career. And it's my podcast. I do what I want. So like, they're like, why'd you have these guys on? Don't worry about why I have these people on. Like, worry about listening. So like, dude, I bet you everybody just turned their shit off right now.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna tell me what to do.
Yeah, well, you know what? I only need 60 seconds to get the number to count. So
there you go.
Thanks. So one thing I wanted to ask each of you as we go around is just about grappling, specifically, your different style, because everyone has a different style, obviously. And I think the three of you, especially, it's like, when I see you guys, everyone's so different. Like, could you explain, just specifically, your style of grappling? And Mark, I want to start with you. Could you describe your grappling style for us?
My grappling style. Before, like when I first started, I thought I was, Wait, what?
It's a Byung Jun Lee. You want to be Byung? I'm a lasso man.
It's also pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. It is very accurate. Yeah. No, I want to be a Keith guy. Why would I be Byung? Come on.
Keith guy.
But I think for me, I'm mostly like an entanglement person, right? So I'm always focused on upper body control and transitioning to like leg control so I could get my sweeps and then working up from there. Lately, I've been working ever since like last year, basically, I started going towards becoming a back take person off my sweeps, right? So like, let's say I get a sweep, I always focus on getting a Kimura trap and taking the back from there. Going for chokes from behind. In nogi, sometimes I'll do more bottom leg entanglement. So I'll play a lot of like single leg X or saddle positions too, and try to get more foot locks. So that's become more of my style, especially in nogi. I'm still pretty much wrestling and judo based. I still enjoy doing that stuff. But I mean, it just comes to like where we train at. Like at OM, we've been training a lot of judo. I mean, last time I was like Mahoney last week, and we were just training. What were we training last week? We were training some kind of throw.
Yeah, we're just doing.
Was it?
Doing Kazushi for like an hour.
Seriously, that's it. And then like, yeah. But then I always try to think of what I could do off my Kazushi because like there's always ankle picks, there's always like single legs from there. So that's really been my style lately. It's just a lot of entanglement and taking the backs. So
cool. And Joe, how about yourself?
Let's see. I would say my grappling style is I guess I would call it more of an aggressive style. I started out as an MMA fighter, so I would take bits and pieces from my striking and grappling and try to put it together. And very focused on pressure. Right now, I play a lot of half guard. I've been working my full guard systems from there. It's funny because when I compete, I pull guard, and then I usually set up my game from there. But in the room, I love to play takedowns, whether it's a little bit of judo or wrestling or anything like that. And I make you work for it. You're gonna have to keep up with me when I move. If you're trying to submit me, like it's not gonna be easy. I feel like 75% of my martial arts style is just not being soft. just kind of got through it.
Trust me, I know. Like I haven't rode you in a while, but every time like I do bump into you, it's like, God damn it. Like I don't have the energy for this today. And Danny, how about your style?
Well, it's a kind of funny thing because it kind of fluctuates over time, right? Because I started jiu-jitsu when I was probably younger than some of you guys when you started, and I was like, oh yeah, I just want to cartwheel pass and do back takes and like just jump and be crazy, which is funny because as a coach, I'm like, hey, we need a cohesive system that is like easy to follow. And then in real life, I'm like squirrel. So like, so that's always kind of been the case. And then of course it changes over time now. I just took some time off when we had the baby, and like coming back in as a fat, unflexible guy being like, yeah, I think I'm just going to like roll under and attack legs. And then I'm like, oh, right, my back is blown. So I've had to like kind of adjust in the past, like, since I've been back to training as far as just being like a top game guy, which is, I feel like my top game is like very like boring. Like, what I mean? It's like pass the guard, knee cut, Kimura. Like everybody knows I love Kimuras. And then my bottom game is like jump, spin upside down, like go crazy. So it's interesting. As you could say, missionary on top, upside down pomegranate on bottom. That's what Julius would say. So ideally, if I continue to lose weight, then I would like to be going back to more upside down pomegranate. But like right now, at this exact point in linear time, I would say my jiu-jitsu style is like smash from the top, put my couple extra pounds on top, and then try to Kimura you, and then breathe really heavily on my way to the water fountain.
It works. I've been learning from you, and everyone I have to roll with now, I've just been apologizing as I'm smashed. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm really heavy, and this is all I really got, but you got to carry me today. So
yeah, that's it's not your problem. That's their problem.
Well, yeah. After the fact, that's what I said. I'm like, I mean, I'm sorry. And after we're done, I was like,
yeah,
I mean,
that's how I feel about.
Don't let me get there.
I'm like, hey man, it's not my fault. You're getting smushed on bottom. I mean, it is, but if you think about it that way, you're gonna roll so nice to everyone. Like, you don't want to injure anyone, but like, you sit there and think about like, oh my bad. Like, unless they're like a first day white belt, I'm like, yep, this is what it feels like to get smushed. Because I've been smushed, so I feel like it's only fair to pay it forward.
Oh, I mean, also too, there's sometimes I'm apologizing. It's like, oh, you're like that's uncomfortable. Okay, here, let me move that. But I'm still keeping the pressure on.
Right.
I'm like, here, let me help you just a little bit. Like, all right, but no, you're gonna carry this weight because I'm fat for a reason.
I had one the other day where Keith gave this like speech about how there's that transition where the upper belts are rolling with the white belts before the white belts leave, and he was like, hey guys, sometimes you got to be a little bit nice to white belts. And so then like 2 days later I was rolling and I got to side control and I thought like, let me see if I can tap this guy with shoulder pressure. And I started going, and then I remembered Keith saying, be nice to the white belts. So I got up and I let him put his hips on my knees and think that he was people. And
think he was people.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, there's a time and place to be nice, but I feel like once you get your blue belt, that's why I always joke, like, people don't think you're cute anymore. So like, once you get your blue belt, I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like, take your butt whooping, like at white belt, I'll be like, hey man, you should really try to get a collar tie here. And then I was like, hey, sucks, bro.
Yeah, I feel like at blue belt, it's like, okay, now that you got this, you're just as dangerous as I am. So I can't be nice to you.
Oh yeah, it's time to die. You're up here with us.
It's like I'll roll with like, a couple of guys on Saturday morning, a couple of the older guys. And I'm like, and I always say to myself, I was like, well, I'm older too. But it's like, I'm also older and like probably 40 pounds heavier. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to put all the weight on you, but you're going to still know that I'm here. But then there's sometimes like just in training, I forget. And I'm like, okay, well now if you don't like it, you got to move if you can. And it comes back. It comes back because, I get stuck on the bottom too by bigger people. So it's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to learn and get better.
It's funny because I remember being, the new guy in the room or the white belt and getting smashed and, being the nail and getting my butt kicked like day after day. And so as I started to get better, I found myself in the habit of, going easy with the white belts or the lower blue belts, and just kind of, letting them work, kind of do their thing. And I found that my game got kind of stagnant. I wasn't progressing. I wasn't really doing anything. And, Coach Keith talked to me. He's like, it's okay to, beat up on the lower belts and work your offense, or else you're never going to improve. Like, you're not going to have a good, pass or a good, submission or a good this if you don't like work on it and employ it in the room. So, you gotta, you gotta learn when you gotta smash and learn when you gotta ease up a little bit, sometimes on the newer guys.
I be hating on the white belts. I sometimes just hate the white belts. So I just be like, because they be, oh man, all right, let me throw something in the room real quick. I hate when white belts try to coach white belts and also try to tell you what you're telling them is wrong. So like in the back of my head, I get a little like, all right, if you really think what you're saying is right, then test it on a higher belt. So
Yeah.
And so like sometimes, especially with the competitor guys too, I'm just like, are you sure you want to check that? Like I always try to tell the white belts, like, check with the coach first before you start spreading nonsense like that. And then
Yeah.
see if it's battle tested. So you're not like spreading misinformation to other white belts, because really white belts shouldn't be coaching white belts. So like as an upper belt, I feel like sometimes like, man, maybe I should give an ass whooping just to make sure
Right.
like the information they check is like on point, and also they practice and they're not just preaching it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it's like white belts are so delusional that like sometimes you go easy and they think that they did something, and then now when you tell them what to do, they're like, how are you gonna tell me? I passed your guard, and you're like, buddy. I let you pass to work, you know what I mean? Like, so then it's
they
like,
really think they did.
yeah, and then so on the next one you got to be like, all right, there will be no mercy. like yeah, and I've had that one where people kind of like start questioning, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. I'm just giving the best responses that I can most of the time when I'm coaches. I'm like, with whatever knowledge I have. But when someone starts like they start troubleshooting your response, and I'm just kind of like, I get like a couple of them, and then at a certain point you realize like you're just trying to find a hole, like you're just trying to like be combative, and then I'll just be like, and I'll walk my ass away. Like, bye.
There was someone at one of the Wednesday morning classes at Elkridge. They weren't trying to be a jerk, but they like a lower belt, I think it was a white belt, asked them like not necessarily for help, but just like asking the question about the move, and he didn't give an answer. And it came up at the end of class, and Keith was explaining, essentially it's like, as upper belts, you can help a little bit to the white belts, but yeah, always ask, if you're not sure, refer to your coach. And the one individual is basically, in their own defense, are kind of like, well, look, like, I don't want to give them the wrong information. I just know what works for me. So I don't want to tell them, this, especially like, because this white belt might have been training for maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. He was like, I don't want to give the dude, the wrong information. I just know what works for me, and that's my game. And he was like, okay, that's fair. I mean, is I know for me, sometimes I'll say some shit that I heard from like, Danny. I'm like, oh yeah, do it this way. And I'm saying it, I'm saying it super confident, but it's like, I think I said it backwards. But you'll get there, and then they'll get there and get fucked up. And I'm like, like,
yeah,
like, hey, I only train once a week. Don't listen to me.
I feel like what, like when you're like, especially for me, like coaching and stuff, like I was like a younger coach, I had like imposter syndrome a little bit, so I would try to say things with confidence. But now I'm at the point where it's like, if I play the position all the time, I'm like, hey, this is what you have to do. And then if I don't play that position and I have like an idea of what you might, I'll be like, hey man, I think this is probably what you should do. and like by having that different verbiage, it lets the guy know, like, take this with a grain of salt, and then go to the coach that knows. It's like, you're asking about lasso, like I know like 3 to 4 good people that I could send you to about lasso. I was like, here's what I think, but you know what I mean? But it's funny because you will hear lower belts say that. They'll say things with extreme confidence. And it's just funny because it's like, bro, and they're saying the wrong thing. Versus like you'll hear upper belts and they'll be like, hey man, I think you want to clear the knee, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's like there's no ego. It's just kind of like this is the knowledge that I have, and I'm trying to always improve it, but I can't magically improve it if it's not there, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing there that you said though too is like ego. It's like as you get further along in the journey, the ego becomes a little bit more, like, okay, I don't know. That's something that was a big thing for me in 2023 to work on just my regular life is just saying I don't know more. It's like someone asks me a question and I don't know. That would be genuinely my answer. Like, I don't know. But we can go look for the answers, or we can go on this journey together to get the answer. But if I don't know, now I'm just like, I mean, maybe this, but like now I'll raise my hand, like, hey, coach, like we got questions, and I don't have answers. So it's all a journey. It's still all learning, no matter what. In your journey, like grappling in general, like all you all compete and everything. Like, what would you say, competition wise, has been your proudest moment so far to this point? Start with you, Joe, because I feel like it's Black History Month, and I've been getting to you at the end. My bad, man.
Man, I don't know that. I'd have to say that I have a couple. So I guess my first would be my first fight, man. My first MMA fight. I was so nervous, man. I threw up twice, man. I was like, bro, like my family flew from like halfway across the country from Chicago to Maryland to watch me fight, bro. And I was, and I won. And that really stuck with me. I like nobody can ever like take that away from me. I did that, and it was all me. And then my second would be my first gold medal under IBJJF, because I'd been competing jiu-jitsu for a long time, and the local tournaments, I would do good there, and when I went up to like the regional IBJJF ones, I'd do all right. I'd make it to the semis or the quarters, and I'd medal, but I never got gold until this past year at in Dallas in 2023. So it was nice. I can that's one thing I always wanted to check off my list. Now I can move on to the next step from there and progress.
Nice. And Danny, how about yourself?
Yeah, there's a couple. Probably the one that means the most to me is when me and Joe fought on Stellar, because it was like it wasn't my first fight, but it was my first fight back. And there was a time in my life when I wasn't training martial arts that I kind of felt like a scumbag. And it was like this regret of like, oh man, I used to be such a badass. I used to be able to do jujitsu and like, bro, no one could mess with me. And now I'm just, out of shape, kind of like looking at myself like a loser. So going to that and showing up and winning that fight with my whole family there, who had seen me not that many years before, like incredibly out of shape and living a life that I was not proud of. It definitely like felt really good, and it was fun, getting to fight with Joe was awesome.
Yeah.
And then obviously my most recent fight was definitely a big one, because it was like a goal that I set when I was 18. And, people might look at it different and be like, like who cares? You fought all like CFFC, whatever. But it was just that I set the goal when I was 18. And even though it took so long and I did not do it the right way by any means, I did it and like got to like kind of check something off the bucket list and say, hey, it's like when you set a goal, sometimes, people want it to be like quick and easy, but it's like, dude, even if you got to keep going and mess up and get back on the bike and keep going, you know what I mean? Like, so now
that
when
part.
yes, that part, the part of like failure, bad decision making, but still attacking the goal over time is like, it's just a lesson that when I teach my son, I can tell him that story of like, dude, listen, you're not going to set a goal and always get it right away. It's cool when you do, but like, that's not the case. So that was definitely a big one for me. But honestly, even more than that one of achieving that was definitely that first fight on Stellar, where it was like I can do this. Like I'm not gone. Cause there was a time where in my brain, I knew I was like, dude, there's no way. Like I'm so fat. I'm so out of shape. Like I'm just, drinking and being crazy, and to be able to bring myself back and like prove that like that I wasn't done with like martial arts, that was awesome. And then I would agree with Joe and say that first IBJJF gold is like, oh yeah, like IBJJF is real. It's like, okay, I don't completely suck at jiu-jitsu. I got IBJJF medal. Okay, like this is tight. Like And then one other one I would say, sorry, is the Naga belt, because I have this really specific memory of being on the New Jersey boardwalk, and all my boys I was there with had Naga belts, and I didn't. So I know it's stupid. It's stupid to like have this, like, they're not even that good quality. But when I did get that Naga belt, I was like, all right, finally checked it off.
And Mark.
Some big, for me, I'd have to agree with Mahoney. Like, so like, I don't know, starting off with the old like gym we started off at, there was always like this perception like, oh, once you get this up to this belt, you're big shit, or going up higher, higher. And technically, essentially, you are like, you are getting better. It's a sign. The belts are signs that like you're improving or you're learning, and you're gaining so much from the sport. And so like, one of my first fondest memories was like actually winning that Naga belt, because I went up against guys who were like higher in belts than me. Like I was the lowest belt. I was a blue belt, and I am a blue belt. And the guys that I went up against were like brown belts and purple belts, and I was able to like utilize our system of like taking down people, kind of working side controls and mounts and doing stuff like that. And it kind of solidified like our gym has such a good system that like, man, fuck any other belt. Like we're actually like out here doing work. Our system works. We're doing the best we can, and like we're essentially like it's battle proof what we do. Um, the other one I would say would probably medaling at Pans Nogi. That was a big one because the year before, when I was coming off an injury, right? So I tore my pec through in practice, and that was really bad, and it kind of like laid me off for a good two
That shit was
months.
purple, dog.
Yeah, dude. When I saw that, the doctor showed me the little scan and everything. I was like, "Whoa, this is." He was like, "That's not supposed to be there. This is torn." And then like, no, I got a dent in my titty, dude. Like, there's literally like a whole giant hole in my pec. So, and technically, I wasn't supposed to train, but I did anyway. So I mean, that's also around the time I won the Naga belt too. That was actually big because it was like, man, am I ever going to get back into this? Is this going to be it for me? And I was actually able to get the win, which was pretty. Well, that was actually a really big thing because I was like, I thought I wasn't going to compete anymore because the doctor said like maybe you should take some time off, but as a fighter, you're stubborn. You're like, fuck it, I want all the heat. And then the following year, so that's when I came back to Pans Nogi and actually like took silver, and that was pretty big because it was like, oh man, now I'm actually like I was able to run it back and not like fuck up. I was able to actually work my game and actually get like win a medal legitimately and everything. So that was pretty big for me too.
It's funny hearing about injuries. Well, it's not funny to hear about injuries, but it's funny when
Damn.
I
Okay.
hear.
See my
What would happen to
dent in my
somebody
titty.
else?
He's like, "Oh, you got a dent in your titty." That's funny. That's
Hey man, I
Funny.
can barely lift my right hip, so I mean, I'll take the dent any day.
it sucks
Um,
being a Masters guy.
but it's like whenever I hear of anyone on our team getting hurt, having any injuries, and they go to their initial doctor, the regular primary, those doctors are always like, "Oh no, you might not be able to do this anymore." And then they come back to the gym, and you know everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," get a second opinion. Because it almost seems like there's a lot of doctors who they're just not familiar with this
Yeah.
world, so they're like, "Oh, you got hurt doing this. You probably shouldn't do that anymore. Just step away. You can't anymore ever again." And it's like, you know, maybe a sports medicine doctor might say differently. They might understand a little bit better, and it seems like that is the case with a lot of everyone at our gym. Like, there's been injuries, whether it be a neck injury or knee injuries, and they're being told by the doctors, "Hey, you will never be able to do this again." And some of those cats are black belts now, or world champions. So take that, doctor, in your fucking degree. You don't know so
That's what I
many
say.
things.
We're a pretty stubborn group of people. Like I didn't realize there were so many people injured and still trying to like fight in the grand slams and the majors, or even still like fight like MMA. That was like I know Vanessa was injured and she still fought like in Europe. I think she like popped her either her back or her rib or something like a week before, and she still went out there and fought. So
It's just athletes, martial artists, MMA fighters, period. I think are just different breeds of athletes. I mean, like, and that's not to take anything away from, like, you got basketball players that at one point would play like with major injuries. Now they get a hangnail and they don't want to play. But that's not to take away from, again, their athletic achievements. You got football players that you're out there playing with broken arms, hockey players playing with broken legs.
maybe fighting on there too.
Yeah. It's like, and, guys in jiu-jitsu and MMA, are no different. It's like, I hear so many injuries and it's like, damn, dude. Like, I think, like, maybe it was last spring or something, Jeremy might have had an injury and he showed up to practice. It was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And I was like, then why? And then he beat the shit out of me. I was like, then why? Why are you doing it then? And then you fucking me up too. That's not okay. But I mean, like you said, we're stubborn, and I think there's a love for this though too. There's this thing where, at least I can say for myself, when I'm away from it, there was a point where I almost quit, and my wife was like, "You can't quit." Like, you're so much happier since you've been doing this. You were so excited to get into this, and now you run into a speed bump, and now you want to step away. Like, no, you can't quit. You got to stay with it, for your betterment of, like, mental health and just your emotional health. And I got back. I've been slowly working my way back, and I mean, coming in consistently on Saturdays for me, and granted it's only once per week, getting Saturday and sometimes on Sunday, I feel better. I feel like I'm back in love with the sport again. Like I told Mark a while back, it's like, I don't think I'm in love with this anymore. I got to get back in love. And now I feel like I'm back in love with it. And I think I'm not on a level with y'all. Like, hey, if my rib gets popped, I'm probably going to chill. But you're awesome psychopaths. Y'all pop a rib. Y'all like, nah, I'll be back tomorrow. I was like, no, the fuck I won't. But, hey, but more power to you. Away from just training in general, like anything, just mats, grappling, weights, and stuff. Like, what are you into? Like, what are y'all into? Not just you, Mark. I'll start with you.
What am I into?
Like, hobbies away from the mat.
Damn, that's a real tough one. Because, like,
know,
even when I'm
that's
not
why I
off it, like, dude, that's actually really hard because with jiu-jitsu, like, even though I'm out here in the mountains, I literally just like hike the Appalachian Trail, like some parts of it, because I want my cardio to get better for training. When I wasn't even out hiking, I was like watching jiu-jitsu matches. Like I was watching the last Who's Number One card and like taking notes on like, oh, what are they doing here? Like I was watching I was watching Jacob Couch's match because I like his transitions from half guard. So I was taking notes on that. I was watching Adele. I think she got into steam a lock on Tubby, and I wanted to take notes because usually when I try to go for steam locks, it's from like half guard or something. But she was able to get it from, I think, like a single leg X and elevate Tubby. So I thought that was really cool. I actually don't know too much what I do away because I'm always taking notes. I'm reviewing notes. I'm doing film study. So I like to do, even like when I'm at work on my break time, I'm watching like matches. Sometimes I'll even send it to these guys too. Like I sent Joe something. I sent like a Kimura thing to Mahoney recently too. And like he was just talking to me about how like he gets that move sometimes. And I was like, hey, can you show it to me? So it's actually really hard to like stop the grind because even when I'm not training, I'm still kind of like studying and learning and reviewing notes and kind of going over what we did over the week, especially because this month, like it's been nonstop Kazushi, like learning how to off balance and everything. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Because like we all take the same classes, so don't say something. Like,
Nerd.
Because I was with Mahoney recently. we're talking about Kazushis like while drilling in class, and I'm like, man, what do you? Well, I mean, you're a dad now. Crap, like.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what he's into. Baby poop.
Play with my kid, man. Play with my kid. That's the only thing I am into off the mat.
Well, weren't you using a Leo as a kettlebell recently?
Yeah, it's cool because it progresses naturally. You
Yeah.
do the lifts with the baby, and the baby keeps getting heavier. So it's like fantastic. He loves it.
Constant
I love
gains.
it. Yeah, constant gains. And it's been cool. Like he was there Saturday morning where I was like teaching some of my privates, and he's like watching. He's watching. I'm like doing private lessons. And he's over there like keeping his. Yeah, he's taking it. And I thought it was cool because like literally every time I looked at him, he was like, "What are they doing over there?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, come on over here, boy."
Like download it all,
Yeah.
absorb. But I mean that in itself is a major hobby though too, just being a dad. So
I feel like it's very meditative as far as like a pastime. like maybe that
Mhm.
sounds weird to be like being a dad as a pastime, but like when you're meditating, you're trying to be in the here and the now, and like the moment, not living in the past and the future. I feel like when I'm playing with my kid, it's like impossible for me to think about what else is going on. Like I'm fully engaged. You know what I mean? And that's awesome because most of the time I have a very hard time getting to that state because I'm thinking about all my projects, thinking about like stuff that's going on with after school and the kids program and eBay store and whatever else around the house, like work that needs to be done. And then as soon as you start playing with that baby, you're like, like that's the only thing you got going on, So like I definitely think it sounds silly to be like that's a pastime, but I find it a very relaxing thing to do outside of the gym.
I agree. I mean, even with my daughter at 7 years old right now, like that's still the thing. I come home from work and it's like, ooh, been a crazy day. And my daughter's like, Dad, do you want to play Uno? All right, let me change clothes. Cool, sit down, play Uno. Dad, you want to play Mario Brothers? Cool, let's play Mario Brothers. Dad, you want to read a story with me? It's like, okay. And it's always like you got to be in that moment with them because for them, like that moment is super important and it's the only thing in the world for them. So it's like, you want to try to make sure that you're giving your all for them as well and being in that moment with them because, like there have been times where like I was growing up, my uncles were like, hey, you want to play Back to the Future on Nintendo with me? And you could tell they're like, I don't want to fucking play this. Like they're holding the controller, but they're like, I don't understand. I don't get it. And they'll like die quickly and they're like, all right, I'm done. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks. Like I will never have a future as a gamer now because you were my example. So, but
So
Joe,
get to work.
What about yourself?
Sorry.
Hey man, hold on. It's still February.
You hear that, Ali?
Me, nah, man. I've kind of done a 180. When I wasn't training, I was in the restaurant industry life, out and about. But now that I'm focusing more on training and my fitness and performance and everything, I'm a homebody. I'm reading comic books, playing video games, watching nerd shit. My girlfriend is still the social butterfly, so she'll drag me out the house every once in a while to do stuff. But I'm satisfied at home, watching fights or playing video games.
Understandable.
Man,
what comics you reading right now?
Let's see. What am I reading right now? Actually, I went through the Messiah Wars. So House of M, Messiah Complex, Messiah Wars, some Deadpool cable stuff. And then I borrowed I borrowed Avengers versus X-Men from Thor, never gave it back. And
So I thought that because I remember talking to you about that. And I thought I loaned mine to you because I couldn't find it for the longest time. I was like, yo, where the fuck's my Avengers versus X-Men? I was like, did I loan it to Huggy? And it was, I reordered my books. So it was behind Civil War 2. So I was like freaking out, like blaming you for some shit that I didn't even loan to you. My bad. But now that we're on it, like, yo, give Thor his stuff back, man. That's a good story.
I will say I used to play a lot of video games, but I had to stop because it was stressing me out. I noticed I started playing with some little middle schoolers or high schoolers online when I would do rank matches. My God, I never talked about someone's mama online so bad because such a toxic. Playing online is really toxic in any video game. Like, it could be Call of Duty. I was playing League of Legends. I was playing Overwatch.
Bro, one time I invited people over to play Smash Brothers at my house, and Mark's like, "Yeah, I used to be ranked. I used to, be in tournaments." I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever. Just come over here and get bust, right?" Nah, bro, he wiped the floor with all of us.
I used to, man, I love playing video games, but now this day and age, like, kids are just so toxic. I can't anymore. And I'm pretty sure that some of these kids are like the students I play with too. Like, they're my students at the school I work at. 'Cause they talk about mamas like I do, and I was like, oof, let me mute everyone.
But
I have
do
a
you
buddy
feel
who
like
always tries to get me. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying I have a buddy who always wants me to play online. He wants me to play Madden and NBA 2K online with them all the time. And he talks about the people who talk all this shit. And I'm like, that does not sound fun at all. Like, that sounds terrifying, actually. And I'm emotional. So if you say something like, I used to play Diablo 2, and I was a nice guy on Diablo. Like, I built my character up, and I would help others build their characters up. That's what I wanted to do in my time. But I have people that come in and make threats at me, and this was when I was unhinged. So I would tell them, meet me at Arundel Mills Ball, and we can do this. I don't know where this came from, but I was like, yo, meet me at Arundel Mills in front of Bass Pro, and we can find out what's what. And at no point did I ever like go to meet anyone at Bass Pro for a fight, but I was like hyped up. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? And then I realized I got to get away from these games, dude. I can't be living this life. And then my buddy's like, dude, I discovered online video games with Madden. Oh, this one dude, like, he rage quit. And then he was like, I just talk shit to him and make him upset. And I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't, because like it's my co-host for one of the other podcasts. He talked shit the other night, and I tried to be very, very polite, but I was like, I gave him like the dad look, like, hey, be cool. Like, we had guests on, and he got the feeling, but I was like, hey, stop talking shit to people. Just be nice. Like, please. Like it's just video games. It's not that deep. But I don't know. I guess that's some kids' energy now. They just want to get under people's skin and make you rage quit and mess
adults too, man. Like, sometimes it's your closest friends. I'm a casual gamer. Like, I don't even get that deep into it. And I've been in Call of Duty like parties where like people I went to high school with, my friends, people that like I see every day, like, kick me out of the group because, like, nah, bro, you suck. Like, get out.
The worst part is I'd be that friend, honestly.
Yeah. I was
so competitive.
I was playing Warzone for a bit, but that's how it is. It's like,
oh, that's another one.
And I'm like, yeah, it's not really fun. You're screaming.
It's not.
It's like there's plenty of like games that aren't online, like open world RPGs, where you can just like, I'm running around in a field, dude. That, like, why do I need to get my blood pressure like spiked by some 13-year-old that's like, I'm so sweating exactly this, dude. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm trying to relax. It's like, I saw a meme that was like, he relaxes to play video games, and it's like the video games he plays, and it's like, yeah, like, why are we playing Call of Duty to relax? You're in a war zone, people are screaming at you, stuff is blowing up. Like, it's not relaxing,
I think I played Call of Duty once. I got killed immediately and was like, yep, taking this right back.
Yeah,
shit was not fun at all. Like, I played maybe 20 minutes. I was like trying to get the feel for the controls. Like, all right, I'm getting a little dizzy. I don't like this sense right here anyway. This is fucking weird.
Too.
And then I went into the game. I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to get in here. Pop. I was like, nope. Go ahead and get the fuck out of here. I don't like that. And I know my buddy, he was like, I played it. You just got to give it some time. You got to, and I get it. I know I do martial arts. You got to give it some time. You're not going to be great at the beginning. But I was like, hey, man, this is guns. No, they're not real. But I got shot, and I felt some kind of emotions about that. I was like, I'm out. I just went and got WWE.
Man, I'm not even, like, being older, I can't handle some video games like Call of Duty anymore. Like, I tried playing recently, and I got motion sickness.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Like, my buddy has an Oculus, and I think he says he has a Resident Evil, and that just doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't sound like some shit. Like I did the boxing game in
That's
the
actually
VR.
legit.
It was fun. Like my heart rate was up. I was like, I was sweating. He's always like, look at this guy over here sweating. Like, cause I'm trying to win this fight, son. Like, I'm about to get knocked out by a computer. And
Yeah,
he's like, yo, look at this guy.
If you turn the difficulty up on that thing and do like whatever 3 5s, like minute rounds, like they make it so like it's pretty much impossible to drop the guy. You'd be like, okay, I landed on his chin, right? So you're just going like, man, yeah. Like even I had that thing at my Pasadena house, and I was in like pretty good shape. I was dripping sweat, and like I forgot there's people in my living room, and they're all laughing at me, but I was in it. No, like seriously, like
the motion sickness too.
Yeah, like if you're a young fighter, I think that Oculus boxing thing is legit.
Yeah, it's fun. I told my wife, I was like, I considered getting it just because of that, and she was like, she was just like, no, let's not do that. Let's like, that just doesn't make sense. I think she was thinking like, oh, you're going to become Ready Player One now. You're going to be playing that game all the time. You're just going to get stuck in the virtual world. I was like, maybe, but I mean, at least I'm not like doing heroin. So
yeah.
it's fun.
Well, that's what video games are going to be eventually. At some point,
Heroin.
Probably by the time we die, there's going to be like a cable that you just insert into your arm. You go, and you live a whole nother life. Just gone.
Matrix.
Yeah. I saw Sword Art Online. I know what happens.
Yeah. I know what happens.
They're a 21-year-old girl in the video game. In real life, they're like a 40-year-old.
Oh, there was what was that episode of Black Mirror where they're going into the VR. And
no, that one was bad. That one was about porn addiction too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting there watching it with my wife, and I'm just like, I don't know if I feel comfortable watching this episode right now. It's like, is this what you want your VR for? I was like, not at all. Like, I just want to box.
Okay. Oh,
Beat Saber. No.
Yeah.
Beat Saber.
I'm not trying to fuck my friends in the VR world. I just want to fight them. There's a difference.
I swear.
What celebrity y'all want to fight?
Damn.
Taylor Swift.
Did not hesitate.
Bro, you didn't even bat an eye.
Hey, bro, he said that with a quickness.
Yeah. She's like Kardashian for really plain Jane chicks. Like, it's like I don't want to hear about her anymore. So
you can't hit an equestrian. She looks like she rides horses.
She do look like she rides horses. Rich white girls and horses. That's like a thing.
That's a fact.
Who would I want to fight? Who could market me the most money? Probably like one of the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. That's
Yeah.
smart.
Like one fight.
I'd take that out.
One
Because
fight, you get $1 million. Because you're not allowed to win. You'll take the L because you're not allowed to win. Because they go,
It's in the contract.
Yeah. I'll take the L because I take the L, take the mill, whatever. I'll take them both.
Like,
Give me $5 million just to take an L. Damn.
you'll be the richest you could ever imagine. You just got to get knocked out.
Where do I sign?
Now, are we talking about like on like a spiteful level? Like who would I want to fight? Like kind of like what Mahoney did, or
No, I like
Yes.
what you're saying. What is financially
what is financially going to stay for us?
how could we market
Yeah.
this? How could we market
I was thinking out of spite, but I mean, you went the financial route, and it's like, well, I mean, that's not
Out
hateful
of
either.
spite, still the Paul brothers. I'll fight them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true. Hey,
I don't
No,
like
I-
money from boxing.
Mahoney's in 2025.
Yeah.
he was like, no, I'm getting ahead of the game.
It's equal rights and lefts now. All right, Joe, who you fight?
I'd fight Elon.
Oh, you fight Elon?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
That's
money
fair.
right there.
That's a lot.
Oh no, I feel like we duke it out.
He's a
Yeah.
big.
He's
probably
got some
hands
weird.
with
He's
his-
not in shape.
Well, no,
He's got
Well,
some
he
weird
might get
logic
shaken.
as to fighting now. He thinks like, oh, I'll just sit on you. I'm big. I'll just sit on you. It's like, okay.
I think Zuck might be the fight. Fight the Zuck. Did you guys see him with Volkanovski? He was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm people.
That'd be a good match too.
I'm a human. That shit was so fun.
I think Zuxa would be an interesting one because it seems like he's actually really like into
Yeah,
like
like
martial
he
arts.
probably actually like
He trains and he's got unlimited
Yeah.
resources. So that's what I was thinking about when they were talking about the
he's
Elon
next
Musk
BJ
one.
Penn.
Yeah, right. Like you can just buy private lessons all you want and whatever drugs you want. So like that's what I was thinking. Like, man, Elon's a lot bigger and stronger, but if he gets a long enough fight camp, he could be pretty strong. You know what I mean? Like,
That kind of makes me think now. Who do you think would be actually a good fight as a celebrity? So you're saying Elon Musk? Yeah.
I don't
I
think he
think-
would be a good fight.
What do you think, like Matt Hardy? You think he'd be a good fight?
I think Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, sorry.
Tom Hardy would be a fun one. I don't know why, but I've always had it out for AC Slater, and I see that he
Okay.
trains.
Okay.
So it's like,
All right.
and like just growing up watching Saved by the Bell, I was always like,
Yeah.
man, fuck that guy. I didn't like Zach either, but Slater every so often just rubbed me the wrong way. And then, oh shit, he trains too. And I saw him slam somebody. I was like, he might fuck me up. But that could be fun still. It's still a challenge. So,
I'll still fight him.
I was
ain't
just telling
scared.
somebody yesterday, I'd fight Demi Lovato. We grapple.
Demi Lovato. Oh, she trained for a while, right?
Yeah, she's purple belt now, I think.
Yeah, apparently, she got a purple
Yeah.
belt.
Okay, she's still chucking along.
Damn, what am I doing wrong?
Well,
We're
you're not
poor, that's
rich.
what it is.
That's part of it.
I
I
want to
think
go
she
against
did.
Ed O'Neill from Modern Family, or from because
Yeah,
he's
come
a
on,
black
dude.
belt, right?
It's Married with Children.
Yeah, he's
Married
from
with
Married
Children,
with
too.
Children. How dare you say such a thing? How dare you? Yeah, from what I understand, he's been a black belt for a long time too. Like he was ahead of the curve on jiu-jitsu. Like since like the 90s, he was already in it.
I think he's like,
A story about him just came up. Someone was telling a story. I think I might have saw it like just crossed through the internet. Like they trained with him years ago, and their dad was like a big Al Bundy fan, and still to this day, whenever they get together for holidays, his dad's like, "So have you talked to Ed recently?" Like, we haven't seen that dude in years. But yeah, I think Al Bundy would be a fun match. He old though, so I mean, I don't know.
How old is Russell Brand?
He might be
He's in his
Russell
40s, I
Brand.
think.
he's like in his
Yeah, he
40s,
might be
right?
about 48,
Is he 40?
About
roughly.
because like all right, so if we're talking about like actual good matches, I'm like, what are like celebrities
exactly
that actually know some jiu-jitsu? Like
Yeah,
I know Russell Brand was training.
Is he like a
I
brown
think
belt?
Batista actually knows. Like, I think he's a real brown belt.
He's a
Oh,
real
Batista,
brown
yeah,
belt.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, that'd be a good match.
Guy Ritchie is a black belt.
Really?
Yeah, like he used to compete at the Europeans. I think he's done it a couple times now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, who else? Maynard just got his black belt, I believe.
Yeah, he's been training for a long time.
So I'm trying to think what other celebrities, at least. I mean, there are a lot that are training. They're still white belts, but the ones that are like blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. I think Guy Ritchie, Tom Hardy, Zach Morris, Mark Paul Gosselaar. That's his name. Mario Lopez, Batista. There's someone.
What's Kevin James at? What belt is he right now?
Oh, yeah, he trains, right?
Yeah, he last I saw it was like a blue belt.
He did like
Yeah, I
MMA
don't know.
right?
Wiz
Yeah, I
Khalifa,
think he was
I want
like-
to do a Muay Thai match with him.
Ooh. Yeah, I forgot about him.
That's
That'd be
one.
fun.
I saw Wiz Khalifa at the Worlds one time. I wonder what year that was. It's like
For
I
real.
think it was like when he very first started training. It was like a long time ago. I just remember Wiz
Oh,
Khalifa-
dude, I do remember. Yeah, he was there.
Wiz Khalifa was sitting in the corner eating acai, and I was like, "Is that Wiz Khalifa?"
Is it a clean acai?
So with
It's
that,
like,
acai,
is he shooting a video right now? Like, what the fuck's going on?
yeah. And that I saw one time he had some Muay Thai shorts with some pockets in them. I was like, now we're using our full brain because no one's ever. I've never owned a pair of Muay Thai shorts with pockets.
With his pockets, right?
Yeah, this fool had his hands in his pockets, and I was like, double take. What the heck?
I didn't think that was a thing.
I need to see this.
Custom
Everybody
tailored,
needs to
bro.
see this.
My
Yeah,
custom
of course.
tailored shorts, bro. They're bespoke.
Because I mean, if they had pockets, I'd wear them like just all the time. I just wear them to work for funsies. You get weird, but still, I got pockets on. So yeah, I think out of any of the celebrities, I think right now, at least from what I understand, Tom Hardy
Would be the
and
best match.
Mario Lopez are the ones that are competing.
Because Tom's like
So,
competing, he's training with like legitimate people, and I mean for sure he's on all sorts of good gear. So like,
oh yeah, of course. I feel like he hasn't seen a steroid he doesn't like.
If I look up and see him across from the mat, I'm like, oh boy, this will be a good one.
I'm in it.
Dude, if he's wearing the Bane mask, oh.
Yeah, are we doing this? All right.
It's like, I gotta
bring it all depends
Oh.
who shows up. Is he gonna be Venom or is he gonna be Bane? All right.
Yeah.
Bane, I feel like he's not that hard. You just gotta get his drugs. You know, just take his mask off.
True. Oh yeah, apparently. So I'm not sure how accurate this is, but apparently he's a rapper, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I have a clip. I saved it because I couldn't believe it. But before he got big in acting, he was rapping. And then there was a track that just released a few months back, and there's a mystery artist that they're trying to figure out who it is. And they kind of did the voice comparison. They're like, I'm pretty sure that's probably Tom Hardy. I was like, okay. If it is, like, I already like the dude anyway. But if it is, this dude's just doing side quests now. He's yeah, he's like, okay, I've won this game. Now I'm just gonna go rap, go do some jiu-jitsu tournaments. He was in that movie Warrior. Watched it last week again. It's weird, but I liked it. It was probably just go take an MMA fight for funsies. I mean, I don't know. I think that's my spirit.
Roadhouse movie coming out on Amazon with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah, and Conor McGregor's just playing Conor McGregor.
Yeah, pretty much.
I saw that trailer. He's just playing his UFC. So I was like,
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal plays a decent fighter. I know he played a boxer before.
But yeah. I think he did. I forgot which UFC was it, but they were also filming for that movie too on that UFC.
No, I remember. Yeah, I forgot which one. Was it Poirier and Gaethje?
Maybe.
That's
I wanted. It was like last spring. Like I'm gonna say.
No, I remember them filming it.
Yeah.
That dude. You think he's on gear? That dude. He got real big for this movie.
Of course.
I think they're all on.
You think he ate the eyesight? You think he ate the eyesight?
I mean,
I think he ate the
does
eyesight.
Jesus.
They gotta be. I mean, look at Hugh Jackman, beefy as hell for Deadpool.
Yeah, I honestly think like it's pretty standard. I don't know, but that's what I've heard. It's like it's pretty standard in Hollywood that you just like they're like, okay, well you have to be this and this weight to get this part, and they're like, okay, cool. They give you the dimensions, this weight, this body fat, and you're like, all right, and then you just take the drugs and do the workouts.
There's
Ozempic is the weight loss one, right?
Yeah.
There was some clip I just heard last night because internet, and this lady was talking about as a Victoria's Secret model.
Ooh.
She came in and they're like, basically, we need you to be this, and they gave her the measurements. And when she looked at the cup size, she was like, there's no way I'm getting to that. And they're like, sure, take these supplements. And they gave her a concoction of pills to take for 6 months. And sure enough, it worked.
Them Jones grew? Them titties got big?
Yeah, she was like, and whatever. It was one of those like Reddit, like tell us a industry secret, blah, blah, blah. So it's an anonymous person. It was like, well, I mean, there's things out there for everything though. So, I mean, if you're an actor and they're like, look, we need you. I mean, look at Christian Bale. That dude went from,
man, that dude was spiraling up and down the weight. Yeah.
I mean, he went from a crackhead in The Fighter. Then he goes to fucking Batman. Then he goes to being Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's
like,
insane.
I don't think that's healthy.
Christian Bale or Pokemon?
What's that?
Man, we're bringing this one up now.
Which is more exciting,
how,
and which is more culturally significant?
What's
is
the
that
question?
really how that question went? Is it?
Christian Bale.
I thought it's.
If you had to choose,
Yeah, which do you pick? Which do you pick?
Christian Bale or who?
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Pokemon?
It's the
The
question that's going
Nintendo
around
franchise,
the
Pokemon. It's just like a question it's philosophical debate that we've all been having.
Like, you gotta get rid of one?
Like, which one's cooler?
Which one do you pick? What, like, preference wise?
Well, Christian Bale just opened a foster home apparently, and I'm a foster kid, so
That's
that
That's all
that
we need. That's all
that
we
matters to me.
That's
But
it.
Pokemon, though, I mean, it's like,
That's a lot of good
yeah.
movies.
I mean, I never played
Yeah.
Pokemon as a kid, so I guess I gotta go. Yeah, my parents were religious. Pokemon was
Those
the
are
devil.
devils.
So Pokemon's out, right?
Yeah.
What is
Too
Pokemon
late
lost
to
me
hop
when
on
I
the
started
train.
reading about it. The whole
What is-
universe was made by a Pokemon.
What?
Yeah, that's the lore of Pokemon. Like the whole universe was made by one Pokemon and made 3 like god Pokemons. And then they made 3 god Pokemons, and it's like, God, there's a trilogy for everything.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
3.
That's literally the lore, and I was just like, this is too much. So I picked Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Christian Bale. What is his character that he plays in the Marvel universe now? I've been out of the Marvel universe so long, but I feel like
He's the
Thor.
God Killer
Really?
in
God Killer,
Thor,
yeah.
Love and Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
He
then
did a
he's
good
getting
job.
like a spin-off or something, or no?
I
Is he?
wish.
I think
Yeah,
no,
because
Hercules. They're doing. I think they're going to focus on Thor versus Hercules.
Okay.
Hmm.
So Christian Bale's only in that one movie as that character.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
Did you see?
I've just seen some clips of it,
That-
and now I want to go watch it. And the other thing that might get me back in the Marvel universe is Deadpool, because I don't know.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
saw that trailer.
I just saw a graph. Marvel's been really hit and miss with like the last couple projects. It's been one good one bad one, like 1 for 1.
Yeah.
For me, it's just
At
like
this point with
oversaturation.
it. Mhm. It used to be an event. Like we used to get together as a group. We go see a Star Wars movie, and then a few months later we go to a Marvel movie, and that was every couple years, and it was special. And now it's like we're getting it so much. It's like
Yeah.
we're getting so much where the CGI isn't great. You know, number one, the stories. I'm not completely mad at the stories. It's just it feels like they're trying to cram a lot of stuff like out there, where it's like, look, if you just slow cook
Which is
this,
crazy, because if you're releasing a movie like every year or every other, like every 6 months, and like what's the point of speeding them up? Like just slow it down, because you're releasing too much stuff anyway. Like
yeah. I mean, like when they we just watched the Marvels the other week, which I enjoyed myself personally. And I was like, okay, this movie got a lot of hate. And I'm not understanding why. I do understand why, but at the same time, it's kind of like I think part of it though too is just it's like you're not getting time to breathe. We're getting TV shows, we're getting movies, cartoons, and it's like, dude, and it's all interconnected. So it's like, dude, I need some time. Like the Spider-Verse movies. Like there's been some gaps in between those, and I'm excited. I was excited for the first one. I was excited for the second one. And I'm excited for the third one. And a big part of that is there's this gap, there's a wait, and it gives me time to really miss it and want it. Whereas, like with the Marvel and the DC films for that matter, and Star Wars, it's like, okay, well, here's a movie. And now to go with that movie, we're going to give you a TV show. To go with that TV show, we're going to have another movie. And it's like I need time to digest.
Yeah, I can't keep
What
up.
I think is what they're doing is casting a wide net. They kind of do the same thing with Star Wars and Marvel. Not everything is going to be under the same, umbrella. Different projects are going to be tailored toward different, demographics, different people. Like, all right, you don't like the Infinity Saga, go watch the Defenders. All right, you want the more gritty stuff, do that. If you don't want that, you want something more lighthearted, go watch the Marvels, kid stuff, women empowerment. All right, you want go watch Black Panther, because those you can watch those pretty much on their own without watching any of the other movies. There's so much out there where now, and enough filler to where like you can pick the part that you like and just stick with that. I feel like.
And I get that because I have definitely pointed that out, to my friends. It's like, look, not everything's for us. Like She-Hulk. She-Hulk's not made for me. I watched it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. But it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't need it. Ms. Marvel, same thing. My wife loved Ms. Marvel. Like, I was like, it's fine, it's cute, but it's not for me. But I think there is also a thing too where it's like where you have the hardcore dedicated fans who've been there from day one. So when you start dropping on these projects, in our mind, it's like we have to watch these projects because that's the way it's always been. When you drop a project, we got to watch it. Whereas like now it is kind of like, well, look, you don't really need this. Like you don't have to sit in for the Eternals. Like this is for this group. You don't have to sit in for like Deadpool. Like collectively, most people are going to go see Deadpool. But there are going to be people that are like, that's not for me. It's, a little too action packed, a little too much going on. I'm going to sit this one out. And it's like, that's perfectly fine. Black Widow, same deal. So I think it's just like when you have like the hardcore group that's been there from day one, in our minds is like, it's a project. We have to watch it. Whereas like, if you came in kind of as a casual, it's like, I don't need Doctor Strange. Like, just give me the movies I need to get to Endgame. And it's like, I think 8 movies that you need to get there. And then all the stuff afterwards, like, if you want to watch Spider-Man, go watch Spider-Man. It'll be fun, which I enjoy.
I don't know. For me, it was sort of like the anticipation part. I really enjoyed anticipating movies when they were first coming out, leading up to the Infinity Wars, right? Like it was like something you get excited with your buddies. Now it's kind of like, oh, did you see this new episode of like Loki or whatever? And it's kind of like, I guess I watched it. I mean, it's not going anywhere if I didn't. So
Right.
the excitement factor isn't there anymore for me. It's kind of like it's so accessible. It's just it's not something I really care for.
I think
Agreed.
like kind of like what Joe was saying though, it's like picking and choosing what to get excited for now. It's like the X-Men 97, the continuation of the 90s series is coming up in March.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I'm excited for that. Like, I went out and bought the toys. I'm like sitting down here in my basement, like, come on, Rogue, we got to get out of here. And then you got Gene just falling over.
Yeah, why show us?
Like, oh, shit.
Oh yeah, I tagged you in that.
After that, I had to go back and actually put on the show. I was like, Jesus Christ, she does just fall down.
Yeah. No, I like that because now I can go back and watch the original one, and that's what I heard. Right, it's gonna start like next episode after where it ended. I'm like, that's sick. Mm-hmm. That's gnarly. Yeah, so I'm actually.
It's funny because I think I heard there was like some internet backlash of like the new X-Men series being too woke. And the response was like, bro, the X-Men, their whole entire existence is being woke. They're fighting against discrimination. Like, how, like, their whole point is
they're
like,
mutants and everyone hates them. Yeah. I think that's just a fear because that is a thing that's happened with a lot of IPOs where it's like they kind of take a lot of liberties with the story to speak an agenda. So like, I get it, but it's also like, you're right. Yeah. If anyone was going to go on off of like that agenda, it's like, like if you're going to get upset about people putting like different things into a universe, but it's like it's X-Men. Like you can put whatever mutant you want into that universe, and you really can't get mad. Like you didn't go out of the canon, so like I think go nuts, go ahead.
I find that most comic books though have always been that way to some degree. I mean, it's just like I feel like the people that are getting upset about comic books doing that weren't comic book fans to begin with, so they see something, they see, oh, well, Superman was white. Wait, they have a black Superman? Well, they have Earth, like I think it's Earth 2 or Earth 3 Superman is black. Like, so yes, there is a black Superman, Oh, well, wait a minute. They're changing races. I think I had an episode years ago, well, a couple years ago, where I got into kind of a back and forth about Batgirl and Batwoman. it was like, well, like they're just making these things new. And I was like, no, they've been around since the 30s. They're not new.
Right.
Like,
Right.
if you were a fan, you would know that these things have always been there. And like, I mean, when it goes to the X-Men stuff, it's like, I mean, X-Men, like they were outcasts. That was the whole point. Is like they're outcasts trying to fit into a world that they aren't welcomed in. And then, you know, you look at stuff like Spider-Man. I mean, you know, Spider-Man, they published an issue back in the 70s without the approval code on it because they wanted to talk about drug addiction and drug abuse. And the I guess powers that be were like, you can't do that. And they're like, well, we'll print the book without the code. Fuck you. And it did great. So, you know, there's always a message in a lot of these books. It's just a matter of, when they're like, well, like you take Bill Maher, for instance, years ago, he was screaming, comic books are for kids, like all the grown men who are watching these movies, these things are for kids, grow up, blah, blah, blah. Then, next time they turn around and, they're kind of shitting on it from that perspective, from the other perspective. It's like, well, like kids are reading these or watching these. It's like, you can't make this. It's like, well, first you're like saying that all the grown-ups are watching this, grow up, and now you're saying all the kids are watching it. You got to pick a fight or just get out of the fight because it's not a fight. Just let people, as long as no one's hurting anyone, let people be who they want to be and do what they want to do and be cool. Like, let's just be cool to each other, man, and go fight some celebrities.
I know I got into like an argument recently about like, for example, someone brought up about the Superman thing, but I was like, well, why didn't you care when Green Lantern was black? And so we started discussing about like associating the colors of the outfit with the guy, like the skin color. And that was another, like, it wasn't an argument, but it became an understanding we kind of came into. It's like, you're associating the original and also like how things are perceived, but it's really like you kind of just can't get over it at this point.
Yeah.
It was just like they weren't upset Green Lantern was black, but they were upset that like Superman was black. You know what I mean? So
I mean, also for the movies, they did change Aquaman. I mean,
that's true. Aquaman is normally like he's like a little blonde
guy.
Yeah, he's in the movie doing
does he
the
have a beard?
He throws his trident at people.
Mamoa.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I felt some kind of way about it. I was like, wait a minute. Like, it was only for action figure collecting purposes. I was like, no. I don't want
to get a bunch of new figures. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go change my shit up now. Like, damn.
I know some nerds complain, but like all the women were just like, "Oh man, I'm glad Jason Momoa was Aquaman." I'm like,
of course.
You guys need to stop thinking with your penis.
Wait,
what? How you guys feel about the third Fantastic Four movie lineup?
Dude, I'm excited to see Pedro
It's the third time they've tried to do it.
Third time's the charm.
Well, that's what Sarah said that. She was like, is this the third time they're doing it? I was like, look, third time's a charm. Just let it be. Like, I'm interested. I'm excited for it. I don't have any say one way or the other about the cast. I know when they announced Pedro Pascal initially, people were losing their shit. And it's like, dude, you guys lost your shit when Heath Ledger was cast as well. Shut the fuck up and just let it happen.
Yeah, let it be what it is.
Yeah, we'll be all right. and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Who cares? Like, the next game is going to be Saturday. It's fine.
What are your thoughts about this new one? Because I kind of like it. Like, I think I like Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, considering I liked his role in Stranger Things. So I thought he did a pretty good job there. What do you think?
I think with them doing this reboot in the MCU and trying to, like, what the issue with what they're doing at Fox is that it was not connected to anything. So it was just Fantastic Four by itself, and Fox was just doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do anyway. They're like, let's do this, let's do that, and none of it ever made sense. Even when they did X-Men, same deal, and Daredevil. But it's like now with the MCU, even though there is so much that they have going on, at least they're adding these characters to a somewhat cohesive story that can, start branching off to something else on their own. I mean, that's at least my thought on it. Like, I'm excited for it. And that besides Deadpool, that might be what I'm most excited for. Maybe, Captain America, Brave New World. Those are my three most anticipated things upcoming.
my only tiny like insignificant gripe is them reusing actors from the Defenders, because before they were like,
Yeah.
okay, because the guy who's playing the Thing, he was Micro in The Punisher.
Yes.
And they're like, before, like, oh well, the Defenders, that can be a separate universe. Now we have the multiverse, and then all right, cool. But then like Echo came out, and it's like, oh well, now the Defenders are canon. They fit in the timeline again. But I'm like, all right, so where's this guy gonna? It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter, but it's just.
No,
I wanna
it
see
is
more
a thing
jujitsu
though.
in movies.
Did you just talk
What's that?
Brave New World in between, like, two comic book movies? Did you just like?
No, that's the name of it. It's
No,
called
yeah,
A
that's
Brave
the
New
name.
World.
Yeah, Captain America,
Okay.
Brave New World.
Captain America, Brave New World. Okay. I thought I was like, are they really making a? Okay. Never mind.
Is that the Mermaid? The Little Mermaid? No, it's a whole new world. No, that's
No, that's Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Because it's not the first time they did that. Because they took Mahershala Ali from Luke Cage. He's going to be Blade.
Yeah,
Or
Black
then
Mariah was in
yeah.
Civil War.
Yep.
I feel like those three characters specifically. I felt like there was one more that they kind of did the switcheroo with, but I sometimes I'll be making shit up. So like I don't know, it's probably wrong, but I think as they kind of get to this one. I think the dude who played Talos in Secret Invasion and Captain Marvel, his character's dead now, and he was like, "Hey, I want them to bring I'll come back. Let me be Doctor Doom." He's like, "Well, I mean, like, I'm not mad at that idea of him being Doctor Doom, but the fact is, you're just a character, and we saw your regular face, so that's going to confuse a lot of people. I mean, people are already confused when like they saw a different Spider-Man. They're like, wait a minute. Like, what happened to the other Spider-Man from 2001? It's like, oh no, that dude's no longer Spider-Man. Well, wasn't there another one in 2011? He's not Spider-Man anymore either. There's another one.
Spider-Verse alone is its own complex just thing. Like,
They did a good job fixing that though on the third movie.
I don't know. I didn't hear good things about Madam Web though.
I didn't watch it yet.
It will look. I'll watch it when it comes on to Stars, and let me tell you, I don't have Stars, and I don't plan on getting it. So that's
1, 2, 3 movies.
but they did just confirm Miles Morales live action will be happening.
Nice.
So
nice.
I think that's the delay right now on the third Spider-Verse movie is potentially casting and then kind of shifting that. I think that's my
Web's gonna be
theory.
Spider-Man.
Do you think Spider-Man should know jiu-jitsu? I mean, like, he pretty much has unlimited lapel grips.
Yeah, you just grip him right up.
True. Like, that's the no-gi like cheat code with the web shooters, dude. That's weird.
Like,
you can grip. He's super flexible. He's super strong. I'm not trying to fight Spider-Man.
Nah. If I saw Spider-Man showing up for a fight, I was like, you know what, dude? I committed that crime. Just take me in. Like, I'm not trying to run from you.
Realistically, I'm just not trying to get my ass beat by a high school kid. That's embarrassing.
Hey, that's what got me into jiu-jitsu. So
I was getting your ass beat by a high school kid.
I showed up to the trial. I showed up to the trial, and Mouth beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So they're like, Mouth, go show like some of the basic moves, and like he's just folding me up, and I was like, all right, I got to beat this kid up one day. And, like, so that's why I signed up, was to beat up Mouth, and I never did.
Yeah.
So, well, I remember when he graduated and everything, he came back, rolled a little bit, and he and I rolled. We just got stuck in 50-50.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, we're here. This is the best I'm going to get on you. So I'll take this as my win. Revenge.
he's still pretty good. He came back last year, and he's like, I mean, obviously his cardio is not there, but he's still like technically savvy.
He knows jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I mean, it feels accurate. Real quick, I want to ask each of you, what are some words of wisdom that you would give to your white belt self?
Who's going?
Not me, because I ain't got no wisdom. Let's start off with Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
What would I give myself? What would I say to myself? My white belt self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Probably not to blow up. I don't know if people knew this, but like I would get angry in the room sometimes. Like if I would like punch the floor, and then like I know Keith made some. He would make speeches about this, like like he didn't really say me, but I know he would say like if you shouldn't be showing that you're getting upset, you shouldn't be showing you're getting angry and everything. Control your emotions and stuff like that, and that's a big thing because like it's kind of like this in between mark where like I expect myself to do better, and it's a process, right? So I shouldn't like be beating myself up emotionally over it. And in the long run, it kind of like this is something I deal with currently right now is where like I get into my head a lot in matches, and like there's this little internal struggle in battle where it's like I should be enjoying my process and like having fun with it, and I shouldn't really worry too much about like winning, right? Like for me, I should be focusing more on like my technique and getting better rather than just like passing someone's guard and just staying in side control for like the next 4 minutes. I should be like having fun, enjoying, like learning new things and battle testing them out. So like I think really I would tell my white belt self like don't get into your head too much. Kind of enjoy learning and using what you know on the mats, like when you're competing. Um, and try to just like don't beat yourself up too much over any competition. Like it's just one battle out of like the many that are about to happen. So it's probably one of the big ones. Just emotionally, like keep yourself emotionally, mentally sound.
All right. And Joe.
Kind of piggybacking off that, I would go back and tell my younger self just to, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. I think my younger self wanted so much to happen so fast. I had all these goals, all these plans, everything that I wanted to accomplish. And, I have great memories and, I've made great friends along this journey. And I feel like I would tell my younger self to appreciate that more, because eventually, everything that you want to happen will happen. You'll reach your goal as long as you don't quit. You just got to keep going, just don't stop, but enjoy the path along the way because, don't put a time limit on yourself, stay healthy and just enjoy doing what you do.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would basically say the same thing, like that it's a marathon. You know what I mean? And I think it's funny, not funny at all, but it's funny that like I've taken longer to reach some of my goals because I was sprinting in the beginning. You know what I mean? Where like I felt like I had to keep up and I had to do all these things that led me to kind of like burn out and neglect other parts of my life and have like mental problems. And I feel like that if I had known like it's a marathon, it's okay if it takes a little while, but you have to find a way of doing it that is conducive to the rest of your life as a whole, then I would be better off. And I probably would be further along now because when you sprint, you burn out and you get diminishing returns. You know what I mean? So I would say, hey, it's a marathon, like enjoy it. And, something that ML always says is like, don't change the goal, change the plan of, achieving the goal. And even though I used to hear that all the time, I didn't necessarily implement it. And I would keep trying to keep up with stuff that I knew wasn't working, wasn't serving me, and I would keep doing it and be like, why am I still having the same problems? And then those problems compound. So I would definitely say like it's a marathon, keep working, and find something that's sustainable for the long term, and don't just keep grinding away on something that you know for a fact is working negatively against you, right? So yeah, same kind of thing. Just like enjoy the process and slow down a little bit. It's okay. It's okay to not get your black belt in record time. Like that's fine.
Yeah. It's so crazy too, because like you look at everyone else who like are accomplishing a lot of stuff around us, and like granted, like they're doing so much, and it makes you feel like you're not doing any better, but like you're doing just as good, you just don't see it, or it's just that like you just really haven't really looked at yourself because I mean our team is pretty stacked. Like you look at our team, we have so many like world champions, major medalists, and it's kind of like we're pretty much there too. We just got to learn how to like dig deep and kind of like either get the W or something. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I guess the pressure of seeing your teammates accomplish something, and then you look at yourself. It's kind of like you forget to kind of look at yourself and see what's happening on your end too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I always brag about our gym, and sometimes I think it can get a little obnoxious with some people sometimes because I'm like no, we got champions, like we put champions out there, and I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but it's like, look, you want to have pride in where you're at, and you see your teammates doing well, and like you said, Mark, you see that, but you don't necessarily see your own thing, and it's like that kind of helps me kind of then like reflect and look at myself. It's like everybody's doing their own thing and they're doing well. You have to look at your own thing as well, and even if for myself, it's like just getting back to the mats and then getting on consistently. It's like that's still winning. That's we're winning in our own right. And it's like then whatever your next up from there is, and I have to remind myself of that a lot. And it's like everybody's doing this differently and for different reasons, and they're doing this tournament or that tournament. Is like you can't beat yourself up over what others are doing when that's not necessarily your your same path. So, but I still talk shit, so whatever. Before we get out of here, I want to do a quick game of Would You Rather, because I did the other night and I want to do it here with you guys. Plus, I wrote all my questions like 10 minutes before we started recording. So that's what y'all gonna get. So just real quick, would you rather get caught by a quick heel hook or get caught by a quick wrist lock?
Wrist lock.
Wrist lock.
No. This I hate this question because I got caught with both last week. This is why my wrist is kind of hurting right now.
Oh, you're over there.
I feel like a wrist is easier to recover from than a knee.
Dude,
bro.
my wrist is still recovering. Like I was sparring yesterday, and I was like, man, I can't even like post on anyone. So like Navarro caught me with someone caught what did he call me? He caught me with the wrist lock. Someone caught me with a heel hook the following week, and I was like, man, now I can't walk on this leg, and I can't do anything with this hand. So
I mean, hey, now with the BPC, I'll break them all. I don't give. I'm gonna hear them.
I know, Mahoney. We talked about that, Mahoney.
Yeah, I'm more scared of leg stuff for sure. I don't want my knee to explode. That's terrifying. I've gone pretty good as far as knee injury goes. Every person I know that trains jiu-jitsu has at some point dealt with a pretty bad knee injury. I've gone pretty good. I had like a little bit of problem with my MCL. Like one time I had like a small tear, but like compared to most people, that's pretty easy.
Jeremy's been out for like
Jeremy
close to a year now.
Literally everyone I know, and that has made it up to like a relatively high belt has had some sort of knee problem. So yeah, it's like knock on wood. Like that's the one that scares me more. Break my wrist. Go ahead, take it.
Yeah, my wrist is moving. I can use it now. It's just hard to post on it. But if you blew my knee out, then like that affects my everyday life. Like we still got to go to work. We still got to like walk around, drive, and do stuff like that. So,
hey, you can type with your left hand.
Can you imagine trying to squat and poop and like you only can use one leg? That'd be so hard, bro.
Why you gotta do your pistol squats?
That's exactly. by the time you recover, your left leg is like stronger than your right leg and like it's bigger too. And now you look like your right leg's a little malnourished looking. So I don't know, Dante. What's you? Because you kind of called me. No. Because I heard Coach Neal's podcast and I was like, ooh, wrist lock. Who wrist lock you?
Dude, I was in a triangle. I was about to tap. You didn't have to wrist lock me. My hand came up for the tap, and it was like, oh, thanks. Like,
I'll take that.
Popped up. My initial reaction was like, oh no, gotta take it while I see it.
You don't want to just be injured.
I don't know, man. I had big feelings, but I don't know. Like pride wise, I'd rather not get wrist lock because it hurts my feelings. But yeah,
why
if
you
rip
wrist lock
hook,
so much?
I have really sensitive wrists. like extremely sensitive. Like Navarro today, like in drilling, he went to show something and like he grabbed my like hand like he was motioning for a wrist lock, just showing him like this is available too. And I was like, dude, please don't. Like I just showed up. Like I literally just got here 8 minutes ago and you're already going for a wrist lock. I ain't seen you in so long. You going for a wrist lock, man. Chill. So, but like for the sake of like
he would never injure you.
nah, well, like he's wrist locked me plenty of times, like to the point where I think that's maybe all he knows to do to me, and I'm not sure where he's getting this notion from. Like I need to sit down and talk with him. Like, why me?
Why are you like this?
But like you know, for the sake of like injury though, I'd rather get wrist locked than heel hook because yeah, if you blow my knee out. I'm 40, like something, 6. Yeah, I'm 46. I don't know that I'm recovering that quickly. Like if I was like 16, I'd probably be back in like a month. Like I'm 46. I'm not Aaron Rodgers. Like that shit gets ripped. Like you destroyed my knee. I'm probably like, you know what? I wanted to play chess all my life anyway. So I guess we got a new game.
Brandon Epps will tell you to get on TRT. You'll recover faster.
That's what I'm saying. We got the
wrist lump.
BPC, TB. We healed now. We got the Captain America serum on deck.
Super soldiers.
Yeah.
All right. So would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or 10 lives that last 100 years each?
Do we have memory of the past lives?
They didn't give me that option. I thought about that too. I thought I took it as like your 100 years are just new. You don't remember the last one.
Wait, how? Like, do you stay crusty looking? Like, will you just remain to be like forever?
No, dude, I'm gonna be like a vampire, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, are you
myself.
forever like? Are you
I
forever
think you're-
25 looking, or?
I think your peak is like you stop at around, let's say, 42.
So
Yeah,
you
you
are
stop
still
aging from
working
that
down
point.
there.
For a man, 42 is not bad.
It's still working.
Everybody wants you at 42, you know.
Yeah, 'cause I think
Have
the
you Silver Fox?
the advantage of elongated life is like compound knowledge, right? Like you're like, I just know everything. I've seen every market trend. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'll be rich and a genius. Whereas if you reset that, it's like you lose all that knowledge. So you got to go
Back to being a
style.
baby, and you kind of gotta. I know who. How
Being a
can you
baby's
say
pretty
second-
tight, though. I'll tell you that. You poop your pants, someone wipes your butt for you, and you get all your meals through a breast. So that's pretty nice.
I mean, as a
It's the life.
800-something-year-old, you could do that too.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. You're like, I'm 100.
If you got enough
I'm
money,
done.
So what do we decide? Because so for the 1,000 years, you stay 42, 40-something-year-old, or?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'd take that.
Okay.
I'm not that far off from that age anyway.
Yeah, you're 42
Mark,
for
you're close to shut up.
958 years.
Let me tell you,
You point the right way.
42 wasn't that bad. 42 was pretty. It was pretty sweet.
Okay, Jackie
I can
Robinson.
Would you rather battle a blue belt with 4 years of judo experience or a blue belt with 4 years of wrestling experience?
I take either one.
Either way, you're getting thrown.
Yeah, I'm not scared of blue belts.
True.
It's a black belt.
Wrestlers are just generally tough. You know what I mean? Like, so it'll probably be like overall more of a grind. Like even once you got to
That was
that.
a scramble.
Yeah, it's gonna be more scrambles and stuff like that. But the judo guys always have like really good grips. So you kind of got to pick. What do you feel like doing? Are you feeling like moving a lot and dealing with scrambly guy, or are you feeling like dealing with the grippy guy that's more like anaerobic, like strength? You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, you won't be able to hold the wrestler down, but if you pull guard on the judo guy, then you might have a chance.
I mean,
I was about to say you just pull guard on both.
Yeah,
he's a blue belt. I'm holding him down.
If it was a purple or brown belt, it would be a different story.
Well, that's why I was like, let me pick blue belt. Blue belt is like they know some jiu-jitsu, but they still have that other arena of expertise.
Joe
So,
went up against a judo black belt.
Yeah,
And
he was a
Naga
blue belt, in jiu-jitsu at
a
Naga,
blue
but failed to mention he was a judo black belt.
I never seen this man get thrown so hard.
Shut up.
And turned-
As soon as he grabbed my lapel, Keith was like, "Oh yeah, he's a black belt. Nah, ain't no way about it."
and then he saw Joe's air like his feet go straight into the air, and everyone in the back was like, "Oh, he got sailed Nagi or something." He got thrown so hard. It's the most dramatic throw I've ever seen. It was clean. It was super clean, but
it's kind of messed up. I feel like, maybe that guy should have had, I don't know, maybe a sticker that said judo black belt, just to give a heads up. So,
everybody gonna pull.
Even if he wasn't a black belt, he was like on a national judo team. Like it wasn't his first day. Like
yeah.
It's like, dude, relax. It's not a competition. Like, you don't need to have all the martial arts. All right. And the last one, because I got asked this the other day, and I've been seeing it pop up a lot lately. Would you rather be trapped in a mall, being actively hunted by one gorilla, or 7 black mambas, and they're actively hunting
who
you?
posted that? Didn't Tom post that?
I've been seeing it a lot lately, and somebody actually came over here a couple of weeks ago and asked me that question. I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't like either of them. Why am I at the mall? I don't even go out.
I
So
don't even go to
you're
the
getting
mall.
hunted, or you're just like in the same vicinity?
No, they're actively hunting you.
Nah, so my logic is I feel like I could probably hide from a gorilla. Like a black mamba can get pretty much anywhere. It's a snake,
He's
right?
in the walls.
Sneak up and bite me. Yeah, nah.
Eventually, you're gonna fall asleep. He's gonna bite you.
I could probably stay hidden from the gorilla at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
You could kill these animals, right? Can you have the option of killing these animals, or are you just forever running away like a little bit?
You're in the mall, so if you can find something.
That's true. 1-on-1, if I got something heavy enough, I could kill the black mamba. I'm not killing the gorilla. I'm just not happening.
I feel like Bass Pro Shop is there. You're in Arundel Mills Mall, so Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bass Pro Shop. I'm shooting that gorilla. You can't even if you have the weapon, you can't shoot a black mamba that's hiding in the floorboards or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Bigger target.
Like every time I said gorilla, because I answered gorilla to this one dude, and then I answered gorilla online, and people are like, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "No, I feel like I can like Joe said, I can hide from the gorilla. I can probably, at least keep some distance. Black mambas, I can't see where the fuck they are. They could be slithering all over the place. They could be in the ventilation system, whatever the fuck. I'm not, and plus I don't fuck with snakes like that. Like my friend, when her mom was in Colombia, there was a snake in her basement, and she lost her shit. And I lost my shit when I heard that. If I see a snake in this basement, we moving like that day.
Time to go.
Burn it down.
Like I would leave everything here. I fuck these action figures. I'm gone. So no, that's my feeling.
So at my grandma's place, she lives right next to this I don't know, these woods or whatever. And I remember as an 8-year-old, I saw 2 snakes coming into her garden. I told my grandma, I started pointing at it from the backyard, from the balcony. I was like, "Oh, grandma, you got 2 snakes coming in." She took a broom and beat the hell out of both snakes, and then tossed both of them in the highway. It's just
grandma don't care, bro.
She don't care. And my uncle was
those grandma powers, though.
Is grandma from the island?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. My uncle was telling me my grandma, she would find snakes in the trees sometime, or where they were above my uncles and everything, and she just beat them up on the tree and then
don't eat them.
Well, that's what I don't know. I think she gave it to the neighbors and they cooked it legitimately.
Nice.
I don't think she did it.
I mean, you gotta, it's a meal. You got to use whatever you can get. Oh, it's a snake. It's meat. Cook it up. Put it in the stew. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up there. Danny, Mark,
yo,
thank you for doing this. Thank you.
Joe.
Like I said, Joe.
He said it. Yeah, it sounded real weird.
He said it.
I didn't hear it. Did it freeze?
It's quick.
Thank you just in general. You guys have been guests on the podcast before, and making the time to do this now, with your busy schedule. So I appreciate every bit of it. Thank you so much. Before we get out of here, shout outs or mentions from any of you. Started with Danny. Got any shout outs or mentions you want to drop for us?
John's Fit Meals Mahoney 10. That is what you should do. They're delicious. they're delicious, and especially now with being a dad and like having the baby, a wife, you still got to give her attention. You got after school program, kids program, getting my own training in, all this stuff. Like, it definitely helps getting some John Fit Meals in throughout the week. So Mahoney 10, go check them out. Legitimately, like, I wouldn't plug it if I didn't actually eat that food. I eat that food every week, so I would suggest you guys check it out. They just did a really good 20% off deal. I don't know if that's still going on, but you can at least get 10% off if you use my code. And then, yeah, I guess that's it. Crazy 88, go train.
Now put that in the notes. Mark.
Mahoney took mine. What am I going to say next?
Put your code in there too.
Joe works there. He was going to say the same thing.
Okay. I mean, I had something, but yeah, shameless plug.
No, wait. I got one. At 45, if you need to work out, you go.
Hey,
there you go.
There we go. I get you right. No, but I want to actually shout out these guys. This was special. This episode, all those special moments that we talked about earlier. We were all there for each other, for all of them. When I won my first fight, that was a fight camp that me and Mahoney did together. We cut weight together. We, sweat and bled together. Mark drove us around. He was in the sauna. Hold on. He was in the sauna with us.
No, let's talk about the story real quick.
Nah.
This is that was an emotional adventure. Was this ever spoken about before? That particular.
Not sure. We think Danny stopped breathing a little bit, but he was fine.
Okay. Still got most of the
on the highway.
I think Mark's referring to all the male nudity, probably.
That too.
That was a lot. I've never seen so many.
The three of us seen each other naked quite a few times.
And that old dude over at what's that place? The one that wanted you to be their squire.
24-hour fitness.
That one, man, y'all gotta watch out. There was an old dude there.
But yeah, back on track. Shout out these guys. Like, even, like I said, when I got my medal, Danny was the first person that, I texted, contacted. Mark was right there with me when I got it. So shout out to these two, looking forward to the future, training together. Thanks, Dante, for, having us on. And, I'll plug in John's Fit Mills. Yeah, let them do the work so you don't have to.
Nice.
That was good. I like that last part right there. That was nice.
Like there's a little commercial there. Yeah, that one set.
Let them do the work so you don't have to. John's Fit Meals.
All right, and thank you again to the three of you. Like I said, I wanted to have you guys on because through this journey, this martial arts journey for me, you all have been instrumental in one way or another. And when I think about friendship and brotherhood, I think about you three. It's like y'all come to mind. It's like if I went to another gym, like it would just be weird. It's like, I don't have Mark there, I don't have Danny there, I don't have Joe there. It doesn't feel like, you make a home anywhere, but it's like it's the individuals that that you encounter and cross paths with that really, make it feel like it's yours. And whenever I would come into the gym, I always felt awkward and out of place, and I come over and talk to one of you guys and it's like, okay, I feel like I belong now. So thank you, the three of you, for just making me feel like I belong, because that imposter syndrome hit me a few times. It's like, I don't belong here. And I got to talking to you guys. It's like, okay. I do belong here. I gotta fucking chill out, relax. So thank you for that. I appreciate the fuck out of all three of you.
We love you too, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, like, sad face emoji. And as always, to all the listeners, thank you. This is the 200th episode of the podcast, and if you guys weren't listening, I mean, I'd probably still be making it. Just I'd be talking to open air, but still, I do the podcast because I like hearing other people's stories, and I like, sharing them. And the fact that people keep showing up to listen, I can tell that you all enjoy hearing these different stories as well. So thank you to everyone who's been listening. If y'all have any questions, concerns, criticisms, always feel free to reach out. You can find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram or Off the Mats Podcast on Instagram. You can email me. I've been checking the emails. I actually got a few guests from the emails, offthemats2020@gmail.com. I'm not sure why I went with that. I probably could have just went with Off the Mats Podcast, but I think it was like 4 a.m. when I made it, and I wasn't thinking. So, but email me if you want to be on or you got any questions. I want to give a big shout out to my crew over there at Nerd Rage Radio: Bobby, Chris, Joe, Marilyn, Phil, Ricky, Ticky, Raul, Chucky O, Evan, all of y'all. Thank you. If it wasn't for Nerd Rage Radio, I wouldn't be doing podcasts. That's a fact. I would be a guest on their show from time to time, and they didn't want to talk about jiu-jitsu. They didn't want to talk about sports. They didn't want to talk about fighting. They want to talk about comic books and shit. And I was like, that's fine, but I want to talk about other shit too. So I just made my own podcast, and here we are. So, and I'll be on their show pretty soon because, Black History Month. What's up? I always show up in February. Plus, it's my birthday. So, I got to go over there and show face. And a big shout out to my other podcast. So You Like Horror. If you like scary movies, go check it out. This year, we're going to be talking about cursed films. So if you're into the, stuff like the Poltergeist curse and the Omen curse and the Exorcist and all the weird shit that was happening behind the scenes there, go check out some of those episodes. They're going to be coming up this year. We drop an episode twice per month, every first and third Friday of the month. So go listen to it if you like scary stuff. And if you don't, then don't. I'm not forcing you, but I like it if you would. And last but not least, big shout out to Danny Mahoney, Mark, because I can never say your last name, and Joe Huggins.
Wow.
At least I didn't just butcher
How
it.
many years have we known each other? God damn it. How many times have I been? Wait. How many times have I been on this podcast? You text me every day. What is
It
going
just says
on?
Mark.
Phenomenal.
Even
Oh,
Julius
you don't
makes
gotta
attempts. No.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
But shout out to you guys. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for making the time. And I love the fuck out of all of you. And it should go without saying, but if y'all ever need anything, I'm here. You got me. I'm in your corner. Unless y'all want to demonstrate fucking wrist locks, then y'all gotta go find somebody else. But wrist lock each
I was
other.
about to say, what happened with Open Mat Sunday? And I had to get
I was there, son.
No.
I was there today, son. What's up? Where was
Did
you?
you get wrist lock?
Hiking. Yes, I did actually.
You got wrist lock.
Guess what? I wasn't happy. I'm probably not going back next week. I'm gonna take another 3 weeks off now. Like, what's up with wrist locking at Open Mat? We're drilling. Like, why are we drilling wrist locks?
Who was it? Was it that?
Not okay. That's weird too. No, I'm not okay. But thank you guys. And thank you to the listeners. And as always, you guys keep listening. We're going to keep making these shows. Thank you, everyone. And bye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.